It's, thank you for this meditation, for this moment of stillness together. And so now we're in the next phase, so to speak. We're going to take a look at the tape that we're going to listen to today, which is tape 295, is I think 294A, Proving Carnal Mind No Power. And so I'd love to take a look at that with you, and starting with the title. The interesting part of the title is that so if you start to prove that carnal mind has no power, what are you actually doing? Like, you're actually confirming its power. It would be the same idea to prove carnal mind true or not true. That's the same idea. So there must be a reason that this title is this way. So I'm going to let that up to you to discover. See, the thing that the human mind does is proving carnal mind is power. So that is the continuing activity of mind, proving that it has power, that it is power coming to, you're overwhelmed with something that is doing something to you, thinking that there's a cause of things outside yourself. So that's interesting to see that is in fact what the human mind does. But this teaching is, of course, coming from the other side. So it is not about, say, confirming power in carnal mind. So carnal mind sounds very fleshy, right? Very physical power. So that is also the healing, say, part of it. So the carnal mind proves continuously its power if you believe your senses. It is that's also like not 24/7, but say a lot of the day. There's a lot of time during the day that you're actually in that mode, that you actually think that carnal mind is doing something, that your fleshy mind is determining something for you, which is pretty amazing if you look at it. It's like, how much time do you really spend in direct communication with your creator? So that might be 10 minutes, if you're lucky, or half an hour, if you're very lucky, maybe an hour, or maybe you don't lose contact at all, and you're continuously in communication with your creator. So there might be some distractions during the day that you forget about this, and I'm not judging that at all. It's like, no, of course not. You will be distracted. You will be tempted to think that carnal mind is power. And don't tell me that you don't. Otherwise you would not be here. It simply wouldn't be like that. So that's the amazing part. So in fact, you're in constant denial of what this says, what actually Joel is trying to teach. In constant denial. I would look for the temptation to say numb the freshness of this present moment. And this is one of the examples that he's mentioning in his tape about drug addiction. So he talks about the UK. In the United Kingdom, there's a lot of drug addicts, even the younger ones and all that. That was in that time, say 57. It was already so. And in America it was a little bit less, but still it was growing. So now today I checked some of the numbers. It's like, okay, how is that today? Because that's what we deal with right now here. What's going on? And so you see in a country like the United Kingdom, just as an example, that there are about 3 million people of the 60 million, that are living there, are actually like continuously abusing drugs, literally are addicted to it. 3 million. So that's about 4% of the population. In America will be the same, and in Holland it is the same. It is like, even though there's an openness in use and there's a program in use, in the users, like you can sign up for an program in order to get rid of your addiction, at least to use legal drugs instead of buying it in the street. That's a different story. Like I happen to have worked in it, and I could not believe the so-called treatments that they did, because the use was continued. Even though you got off not buying it off the street, you get it from the government, so to speak, but still you're using it, and that's seen as like the best option for the addicts, without presenting something that would be like the solution. So it is symptomatic that we're looking at it as human beings. We try to fight. Say we like to cut branches of the trees and think like, okay, now it's gone. Now it's not there anymore. See, there's no branch anymore. And that's funny, because the root is still there, the stem is still there. So nothing really changed at all. The branch will grow again. So this is the thing with, if you don't have a total solution, it will be no solution. So that means if you don't have a program that is based on God contact, connecting within, and showing in fact your total unmanageability, admitting that and seeing that you need help in order to get out of it, that you would never be able to do this by yourself, but that there's a higher power that can help you to restore you to sanity. So this is where it comes together. Like that would be the solution. That would be the solution, because it takes you out of the whole story, in fact. You say like, okay, I'll put this down. Like, and no matter what the addiction is, then it can be drugs, okay. It can be also, mortalholics, like the human mind, continuously proving that carnal mind is true. It would be the same idea. That's an addiction of the first degree too, and it's completely socially accepted. Up to the point that you see like, well, this is not the way out of this. I need help here. Even with my human situation where everything appears to be all right, I need help. It has no exception. I recognize myself as a human being. I have human thoughts in a human frame of reference. I'm in deep trouble. That's what you will have to admit in order to discover, oh my God, there is an alternative to this. My kingdom is not of this world. It is inside of me. It has nothing to do with this world. No, it is inside of me. So this is great, to whatever way you come to it. It really doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter what your story was that brought you to this point where you finally admit, like whatever the story is, I need help here. I'm totally unmanageable. I have no idea how I can get out of this myself. I need help. And I will lay down. I will not pick up my drink or my cocaine or my mortalholic tendencies. I will not confirm carnal mind has power. That's my addiction. Proving carnal mind has power. That's my addiction. So here we come together as a bunch, as a bunch of mortalholics, admitting like, yes, hi, my name is Wim. I'm a mortalholic. I really believe that carnal mind has power. I'm a mortalholic. I believe that death is the answer. It would be a great escape to get me out of the misery here. this is what I think as a human being. And it's crazy when you know there's an alternative. But up to that point, when you start to feel the alternative, when it starts to move through you as an alternative, then finally you got like a connection. Then there's your God connection. And you take your time during the day to have that confirmed to you. It's like, oh yes, wait a minute, I step out of my story here, and take some time to come to myself and realize, yes, I am. Truth is what I am. I don't need to make a better world. I don't have to protect myself. I don't have to attack my brother. I don't have to prove anything. What is. That is my salvation. There's nothing outside of me that can do anything to me. That is my salvation. Any idea that I hold about a past or a future brings me immediately back to my carnal mind, my fleshy mind, and telling me something that isn't true, telling me something is not right, that something is lacking, that I need to be careful, that I need to watch out for what is coming, or whatever happened before, that will follow me, that it has consequences now. It is what it tells me continuously if I listen to it. But luckily we have our practice and come into this stillness together, like we did in the meditation. You come into the stillness and recognize, oh my God, so great, I can let myself be restored to sanity, like deeply restored to sanity. Here's my peace, here's my quiet, here's my stillness. Yes, I want to remember this, so I use my telephone this time constructively and say in an hour I will remember this again. I put my clock in 1 hour. It will ring and I know, like, oh, wait a minute, yes. Time to put everything down, to relax and step out of this for just a second. So this is the practice. You continuously keep on staying with that, and something happens to you. So the restoring of sanity is an amazing story, in fact, and it's an amazing happening to you. So in this moment that we decide, okay, or that you decide, we're going to do a 40-day awakening intensive. It's like, yes, I want to be, I want that in my conscious awareness, every day. I want to spend some time to do this, to step out of the world and to be on the mountaintop for a moment and see all the support that is here for me to remember and to restore me to sanity. That's in fact the invitation continuously, but also the practice and the acceptance of me, of you. Like the acceptance of it will make it happening for you. That's what we do. That's great. So in the video, in the talk that we're listening to, Joel talks in the beginning a lot about the group and say 25 group and more like that. So today I want to leave that for what it is, and we start about halfway where Joel starts to talk about, in fact, the essence of the infinite way. And I don't know if I can just find that right away, but we will see. Otherwise you hear some extra. So this is great. So one thing to be said too is that this is in the second part of the tape group. This is part 2 ending. This is the last meeting that we have in part 2. And so next week we start with part 3. And these are like 9 tapes in classes, 9 tapes in classes that we're listening to in the next couple of months. So if you want to continue this, just let me know, and we continue this. You can sign up for it, and but you can just let me know, and we continue doing that. And so that's just great. And we continue anyway. So you're welcome to stay and to do that. But I always like to section it into projects. So this is the part 3 project of the tape group, Private 25. And it's pretty amazing to have these talks and to have the transcripts that you can read them. I see that both really support the study of it. And for me, it's interesting to hear Joel talk. I will talk about that in part 3 a little bit more, because what I see Joel doing, and I'll lift a little bit of it. It's like what I see Joel doing is he's literally, talking his way through, carnal mind, all the consequences of carnal mind, into the liberation of it. He almost does this every talk. If I look at it now, it's like, yeah, I recognize that a lot. And I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but it is more like the difficulty with teaching it that way is that there's first like a bunch, a bunch of carnal mind put on the table, so to speak, and then you come with examples and try to get out of that story, so to speak. And there are some interesting parts that I see happening that I love to convey with you in the part 3, because then I'm going to take a little bit more a look at what is the way that Joel teaches and what actually does he say while doing that. And so you come to the essence of what he's teaching. It's inescapable for me to take a look at that with you and to extend that to you, because I cannot ignore what I see. So and it can be very helpful for you too. So this being said, I'll keep it with this. So thank you so much for being part of the tape group. It's a real great way to meet each other and to join in the one mind, one purpose. And so thank you, Joel. Thank you, everyone here.